Hi guys, it's Geekonomics here, bringing you episode 4 in the GCSE Economics playlist. And in the previous video I was considering the factors which would shift the aggregate demand curve to the right. And we said that that was called economic growth. And so in this particular video what we're going to think about is, well, if we do get an increase in CIG or net exports and aggregate demand shifts to the right, what are the benefits of that? Why would a government pursue a policy of economic growth? So, number one, if we have economic growth, real output is moving from Y1 to Y2. In other words, it is moving towards the YF, the full employment level of output. So, number one benefit is that we get more output. Now you'll know that one of the ways in which we measure the overall size of an economy is by the number of goods and services that it produces. And so if we can have more real output, then we're producing more goods and services, and that in itself is, in most instances, that is a good thing. So number one, an increase in real output. Number two, if you increase the amount of goods and services that you are producing, generally speaking, you will have to employ more people, because there is what we refer to as a derived demand. In other words, the demand for labour comes from the demand for the goods and services which the labour is making. Well, if you've got lots of demand for those goods and services, then you need lots of labour, so therefore you get lots of employment. As a note of number one, up-to-date interest, of course, the UK unemployment figure fallen to its lowest for many, many years. The official stats just out last week down to 4.6, 4.7%. And almost, some people would say, that is almost approximately getting very close to our full employment level of output. We would not want, ladies and gentlemen, 0% unemployment for full employment, because you then have no workers to pull from if you need an additional worker. And that then leads to all sorts of other problems in the economy, which we will no doubt consider in the future. What else does economic growth bring us? So, more output, more employment, SOL, an improvement in our standard of living. If more people are in jobs, then more people have an income. Then they can buy a bigger, as we say in economics, a bigger basket of goods. And as a consequence of being able to consume a bigger basket of goods, they have an improvement in their standard of living. So that is number 3. Number 4. If the government is selling more goods and services, that means that they are earning more value-added tax. So that is a good thing. If more people are in employment, that means more people are paying income tax, national insurance contributions. It may mean that more people have a car, so more people pay road tax. It may mean that more people can afford their own home, so more people pay council tax, and so on and so forth. So there is an increase in the general pot of tax revenue. Number 5. What does the government do with those tax revenues? It spends the tax revenue on what? Well, education, health, all of these goods and services which for you, ladies and gentlemen, are free at the point of access. Not free strictly speaking, because of course they have to be paid for through this tax revenue, but if you wish to roll up to your local GP and make an appointment, you can do so. It's free at the point of use. So there should be an improvement in the public services, an improvement in the railways, an improvement in the roads, an improvement in the general infrastructure. We should see all the street lights on all night rather, every day. We should see the local council being able to afford to trim the verges, as is not the case at the moment. So all of these things, even these little things, they go a long way, don't they, in improving our general feeling of well-being in the places in which we live. And then finally, number 6. As I was walking through Newcastle at the weekend, I was struck by the number, and it was really very sad, I was struck by the number of young people who were sleeping rough in doorways and so on Northumberland Street. And it's a really tragic thing, isn't it? But if we think about China, for example, one of the reasons why we've seen such a dramatic global reduction in poverty, and remember we class poverty as people living on less than $1 or $1.25 a day. Now, of course, they're by no means wealthy. Just because you cure the levels of absolute poverty doesn't mean you're making great inroads, but nonetheless, if you can improve the level of real output, bring more people into employment, give more people a decent income, then you will undoubtedly bring people out of absolute and relative poverty. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the distinction is between absolute and relative poverty. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for now. I guess the next video will be about what are the costs of economic growth, because whilst it's all very well having these half dozen, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is no means a finite list, we could go on, but there are also costs to economic growth. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, bye for now.